Okay, we're live. Good morning. How's everyone doing? And good afternoon and good evening. Toby, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh. I think I missed the last 4 live streams. Yeah, I know you've been trying to get in, but I think you made it, right? Are you here? Good morning. Good morning. 23 people already in 45 seconds, guys. That's incredible. First time listening and lurking. All right. Well, it's an honor for you to listen and lurk. Rick, howdy. How you doing? What a great way to start my morning. Hello. Good evening, Thomas from India. Crap, I was late. Well, no, you're on time. You are on time. I just started. Good afternoon from England. Beautiful. How's the weather where everyone is? Because right now we're getting all week 70s. It's just going to be beautiful. Beautiful, clear skies. Ooh, so snowy Salzburg. Stay warm. Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year, everyone. I can't believe it's another year. I'm still in awe that that 2025 is just gone. What happened? How was everyone's New Year? And like, what did you do? And what, looking back at 2025, how was that? How was your 2025? And maybe on the book side of it, how was it? How many books did you read? And well, maybe not that. What book stood out to you last year? Happy New Year from Greece. Where have I been? Funny, because I was just wondering about you earlier this week. Well, I have had a video just in the can, ready to edit, and I've just been so busy. So hopefully that video comes out tomorrow, maybe later this week. I might film a video this week, get that out Friday, but we'll see. We'll see. Is it the first live of 2026? Yes. Yes, it is. And this is not the first cup of coffee for 2026, but because we're already 2 weeks in to 2026. What happened? I am so far behind on your videos. Took a little YT break. Gonna get caught up soon though. I think that's pretty awesome that when you find a channel on YouTube and you love it and you just connect with it, it's fun to go back and watch all of the videos. And I think it's pretty neat that some people do that for me or on my channel. I think that's flattering. It's sweet. Hey, Thomas, any advice you would give someone who's looking to start a reading/graphic novel YouTube channel in 2026? The advice will always be the same. I'm just going to tell you, be yourself. Be yourself, because that's what matters most. Don't try to be like other people. Copy everyone else's content. There is a space for you and what you offer on YouTube. And if it's reading/graphic novel stuff, I think that's great. And there's a place for that. There's YouTube channels that are just Wheel of Time. There's YouTube channels that are just Stephen King. So it's very niche. I think I'm a niche guy. I mean, I kind of talk about reading as a broad subject, but I'm not covering all the popular books like a lot of other channels are doing. And yeah, just be yourself. Hi. Been so long since we did a live stream. I've been waiting for one for so long. Well, I'm glad you're here. It's been way too long. I don't know when the last one was. It's cold here in PA. Live in Texas and it's 80. Snowy in the Rocky Mountains. Winter is not wintering that much here this year. Okay. We got rain pretty much all of December. I think the second half of December and the first week of January. It was lovely. Iowa, 40. Whew. By the way, it's cold here. I have my little heater right here, so I may be shivering. Cold here just cleared from a week of strong snow. All right, Toby. Glad you're warm. How you doing, Toby? It's been too long. Sunny but cold, Massachusetts viewer. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Rick. Michigan weather just can't make up its mind. It's in the 20s one week and 50s in another. I mean, 20s and 50s is still pretty cold for me. In California, when it goes into the 60s and 50s, I'd say 40s, it's like, oh my gosh, it's winter, but that's not that cold compared to other places. I got gifted a copy of Sword of Kaigen for Christmas. Went to read it yesterday, and every fourth or fifth page wasn't glued in. Oh, I thought you weren't like locked into the story. Oof. You able to return it? I hate when that happens. I got a book over there. It's a Dungeons and Dragons book. And I opened it and it just fell apart. Returned it, got a new copy. So far it's sticking well together. This guy right here, doing well. Sticking really good together. Yep. 3 months and counting. I'll get it done eventually. The weather where I am is about 11 to 9. Halfway through The Great Hunt reread. It's even better the second time. Oof, I can't wait to reread it. I put Lonesome Dove on pause for now to start Lord of the Rings as a Christmas gift. Have I read it? I have not read Lord of the Rings yet. I know. I'm horrible. And I say I'm a fantasy fan, and I haven't even read it. Good morning from Czech Republic. It's already evening here. Past 2 weeks, it was really cold there and freezing. I was homesick on New Year. Yeah, I too was sick. I got sick the day after Christmas. I love my brother, but he went on a cruise the week before Christmas, came visit the family. He was cold, he had sick and all that. And then I think he gave us some other, gave us a little sickness. And, it happens. It's part of Christmas. Well, I am 60,000 words into my first book. I love that. That's so you're cooking. You're writing through that. So glad to see you back. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm just taking my sweet time on the chat. Let me just try to speed through here. And while I'm going through the chat, let's ask a couple questions. So, favorite book of last year, worst book of last year. Let me know. Let's talk about it. Took a trip to Japan to end the year. Took 3 weeks. Read Blood Meridian as my book during that time. Book that stood out was The Strength of Few. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, I would love to read Blood Meridian. I read 8 books in 2025, and Stoner was my favorite book. I really want to read Stoner. I don't even know how many books I read last year. I think I read, a little over 10, maybe 15. I don't know. It doesn't matter. What matters are the books that stood out to me. And I am actually making a video on that. I'm ranking all the books I read last year. So from great to bad. Hey there, any major reads for 2026? Okay, I don't know yet. I don't have any reading plans, but there are books that have kind of popped up in and out of my brain where I'm like, that'd be nice to read. That'd be really nice to read. East of Eden, number 1. That's been on my mind for sure. I really want to read that. The Shining. So East of Eden, The Shining for sure. Absolutely. 2026 is not going to end until I read those books. Anyways. Shoot. I don't know. I might get back into fantasy. There's a couple books that I'd like to read. Yeah. I'll make a video on that, on why I'd like to return to fantasy. That'd be fun. Hello from Serbia. Hello. Happy New Year from Akhand Barat. I don't know. I am horrible at pronouncing things. 2025 was pretty adventurous for me. Traveled a lot, photographed a lot, read about 10 books. I love that. 10 books is such a good number. It's about a book a month, and you're able to just sit with that book. Ooh, love that. I read Brothers Karamazov at the start of last year. It's definitely stuck with me. I felt it needs a reread at some point. By the way, I'm still kind of waking up, so I'm a little slow here, and I'm way behind on the chat. Do I just skip in the chat? Let me just kind of see what we got here. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Finally planning on reading Stephen King this year. Do you think Misery or Carrie are better for a newcomer to King? Oh, that is a really good question. I started with Misery, so I'd recommend that. But Carrie is not bad at all either. Carrie was a great book, but Misery is up there for me. That's going to stick with me forever. I read great books in 2025. I read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, a new film based on it, and read Christmas Carol for the first time as well. It by Stephen King, easily the book that had the biggest impact on me. I put it off for the longest time. Yeah, I'm putting it off too. I might tackle it this year. We'll see. One of my favorite books I read in 2025 was This Is How You Lose Her. It's a very painful and complex series of short stories with an overarching theme of heartbreak. I recommend it to all. Love that. 2026 is going to be the year of letting go of the TBR, more thoughtful reading, and hopefully a few bigger books. I'd like to finally crush It, The Stand, and a few others. Oh, Toby, I love it. It's so nice. I'm not against, I'm not against people who like the TBR. People like to approach reading the way they want to. But for me personally, it's so enjoyable and freeing to not have that weight looming over me of just books I have to get to, books waiting for me, this list of books, this pile of books. And I'm just not thinking of it. I'm not thinking of any books right now that I need to get to. There's a couple books that I'm like, yeah, I really want to read that eventually, but I'm not dying to rush through what I'm currently reading just to get to the next book. It's great, and I'm happy that you're doing that, Toby, because this is a big book. Still taking my sweet time with it. I read one chapter last night. One chapter of Lonesome Dove, and it was such a heavy chapter that I had to put it down and just sit. It hit hard, and I don't know. There's something about the way Larry writes that's so human. And you got these cowboys, who have all these thoughts and ways of, how they live their life. And sometimes, you see how they act, but you don't know the thought behind it fully. And then Larry peels back the curtain to just visit some of the thoughts and the past of some of these characters. And you're just this weight on you. Anyways, it was a great read. And that's why I'm taking my time with it. Because Lonesome Dove, to me, call me crazy, it's not a book I'm dying to pick up with the excitement, with excitement, actually. I'm not excited to read it. I'm not dying to see what happens next. I know that sounds insane, but I'm just, I don't know. It's been about 2 degrees here. My goodness. Anxious People by Frederick Bachman was also a great read for me. Twice Born by Grace. How you doing? I've been great. I know it's been far too long. Wow. I'm really behind, and I'm always behind on the chat. Please bear with me. If I missed your question, just keep sending it. 2025 was a great reading year. Top read was Big Rock Candy Mountain. It's set in the West. A study of self, of making or receiving of self. Wow. Are you still reading Lonesome Dove? Hey, there it is. There's my answer for you. Still reading it. Read a lot in 2025. Over 70 books. I only loved Our Piranesi and Project Hail Mary. Wow. Okay. Very cool. I don't know if you guys caught on my last video that I posted, I was gifted a copy of Project Hail Mary from a friend of the channel, but also a friend in real life. It's kind of funny how we met, how we crossed paths. He's local, found my channel. I ran into him at a Barnes & Noble, and now we get coffee, play video games, and yeah, that's really cool. Finished Moby Dick at the start of January. It took me 2 months, but was one of the best books I've ever read. I love my copy of Terror, just finished with Snowed In. It's just floppy and beaten like your Lonesome Dove. Yeah. I used to care so much about taking care of my books, but the older I get, books are meant to be read. And, it's nice to have pretty covers, pretty books sitting on the shelf. Maybe a couple of like my really favorite books, but outside of that, I'm tearing into books. I'm reading them. Hola. Sir, pause all else and read Lord of the Rings. I know, I'd like to. I really want to. I didn't keep the Amazon receipt. I'll probably read it on my Kindle. Oh, dang it. Someone is sending me their book for my birthday next week, and I can't wait to read it. Oh, well, happy early birthday. Twice born by grace. Get some happy early birthdays in the chat, everyone. You have any plans for your birthday? It's so easy to just kind of, feel like your birthday doesn't mean much, especially the older you get, but it's the day you were born, that you entered this life, and it's always a day worth celebrating. Thomas being behind on the chat, counter one. Well, okay, so I'm clearly 10 minutes behind right now. So this counts as number 2. Well, no, I'm probably 5 or 6 right now. See, now I'm back on. I'm so behind. Now I'm only on the favorite books. Okay, favorite books. Gulag's Archipelago. We've Always Lived in the Castle. We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Is that the Cased? Is that Shirley Jackson book? Worse, The Hobbit. Oh, tell me why. I love that book. Best book, Wind and Truth, least Shadow and Bone. Okay, I will say it is funny how a lot of fantasy books are this word and this and this. It's funny. Worst book of last year was Piranesi. Yes, I'm right there with you. You'll see that on my ranking video. It's just incredibly forgetful. I just couldn't get into it. It wasn't that it was forgettable. Maybe that's a result, but I just couldn't get into it. Best book was Last Unicorn. Yeah, Last Unicorn is up there for me too. Favorite Ashes of Man from Sun Eater. Worst was probably Empire of Silence, just because it's a bit slow. Yeah, I'm still stuck on book 2. Haven't started it. Anyone finish Sun Eater? Because everyone on Booktube has read Empire of the Vampire trilogy, Sun Eater, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Everyone's caught up on everything. So I'm curious what series are really, really doing good. Like, what are Dark Age, Strength of Few. Strength of Few not do good? 3 books you recommend for a fairly new reader? Depends on what kind of, well, you don't know your tastes if you haven't read, right? Or do you have like a particular taste of story that you like? Do you like fantasy? Do you like fiction? I'd honestly recommend The Last Unicorn. I like recommending that all the time. I always get stuck on this because it's so hard for me to recommend books. I don't know. Anyone want to help with that? My gosh, I am so far behind. I'm not counting Piranesi as my first fantasy book I've read, starting over with Name of the Wind. Oh, that is a beautiful sentence right there. I love that. Yeah, Piranesi is not fantasy. Sorry. I know a lot of people get frustrated when people don't like books they like, but I love how subjective reading is. Tell me why you love / hate it. Tell me how your mind works. Amen. Yeah. It's I want to make a video on this. I just feel like what the algorithm feeds me is going to be different from what it feeds you. But what I'm seeing, what the algorithm is sending me on YouTube, I'm not seeing a lot of negatives. It's always hype. this is great, this is good, this is amazing, a masterpiece. I'm never seeing negatives. If I am, it's very rare. And if I am, if I see a negative, it's very rarely pointed towards something popular. A lot of the popular stuff, I just see everyone hyping up, and I don't know what that is. But it's an interesting thing. Hello, one Thomas to another. Welcome back, Thomas. Well, hello, Thomas. See, I've now caught up with the chat, and now I'm going backwards because I feel like I can get in with the current conversation. Oh, Book of the New Sun. That's definitely a book I want to read. Yes. For 2026. Ooh, what about Elden Ring? I haven't finished Elden Ring yet, but I did finish Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, one of the best games I've ever played. That story is just, wonderful. Every reader who wants to get into fantasy should read Wheel of Time. I agree. But it's an undertaking. Close to finishing the last book, and the series is amazing. Just get past book 1, I promise. It gets better. Okay. I hope so. Definitely don't watch. Yes, I agree. I'm not reading anything. I'm not watching any trailers. I'm going to read the book before I watch the film. I like when a book looks well loved. That is the quote of the day. Great to see you streaming again. Doing a deep, slow read. I love that. Can't wait for the Project Hail Mary film. Hey! Oh my gosh! Hi! How you doing? Good to see you. I just finished Liza Locke-Lamora, and you must finish it. Yeah. I think I'm going to do that. I think if I do get back into fantasy, it might be with that book. I might do a short little fantasy book. Let's just. All right, we got this one and this one. So this book was written before Lord of the Rings. Oh my gosh, fantasy written before Lord of the Rings? How's that possible? Yes, right here. I want to read this book. When I return to fantasy, this is the one I want to read because it's short. It's got illustrations, kind of, sort of, I think. Yes, it does. Look at that. First published in 1924, The King of Elfland's Daughter is Lord Dunsey's timeless masterpiece of high fantasy, a lyrical tale that bridges the mortal world with the enchanted realm of Elfland. Yes, this one. And then I wouldn't mind diving back into this. I talk about this in my ranking video. I started it, didn't finish it, not because I didn't like it, but because I was reading so much fantasy that I wanted a break from it. And I was reading so many coming-of-age tales at the time that I didn't want to beat that horse over and over again. So I'm taking that recommendation to heart. You're growing as a streamer. More viewers means chat will go faster. It's okay if you don't get everything. That's a good point. I still feel this obligation and weight to reply to everyone. I try to, but I know it's tough. Beautifully said. I tried the TBR and quickly realized it wasn't for me. Just reading what looks interesting and, more importantly, what I actually want to read, not what I feel like I have to. Amen. Amen. Ooh, I started a new job as a bookseller in December. I remember you left a comment on one of my videos about that. I hearted it, and then I wanted to get back and reply to you genuinely and fully, but that comment is nowhere to be seen. I don't know what YouTube does, but very busy. So only managed one book that month, Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman, but being forced to read slowly made me soak up the prose and plot better. I've heard great things about that book. Do you still recommend it? I plan everything. I have book schedules for years in advance, not just a pile in a corner. I find it freeing this way. No choice paralysis. Ooh, okay. See, it's nice to hear about, someone else's approach to reading, because everyone else has a different approach. I let go of the TBR last year. Best decision ever. Yeah, same. Glad you're back. Watching your videos with a good cup of coffee is a great start to my day. Cheers. What's everyone drinking this morning, this afternoon, this evening? See, I like this. This is nice. I limit my TBR to 10 books and 2 series. I like that a lot. If I were to do a TBR, yeah, I'd most likely stick with 1 series, and then limit it to like 10 books. If I were to do that. Started reading Harry Potter for the first time ever. Never seen the movies either. Love, but oh my gosh, that is awesome. I love that. Don't look at anything. Don't look at any of the movies. Just read the series. You're in for a treat. That is awesome. Hey, Thomas, hope you're doing well. I'm just about to start Wheel of Time once I finish Sun Eater. Any tips would be great. Okay, that's awesome. I'm really happy for you. I still look back on Wheel of Time fondly. I'm jealous. I think 1 book at a time is all you can do. Have the mindset of each book in Wheel of Time is its own part in the overarching story. They pick up where they left off. It's all continuous. It's not like this book is the heist book. This book is Save the Princess book. This is the big war book. No, they're all one part of an overarching massive tale, and just respect each book as much as you can. Know it's worth it. The names are going to be exhausting, so don't beat yourself up about the names. The names are there's over 2,000 named characters. Don't feel responsible to memorize every name, and just take your time with it. Soak it in. So happy for you. East of Eden was one of my favorite reads last year. Hope you love it as well. Yeah, I can't wait. Have I seen the Misery movie? Yes, I have. I didn't like it because the book was so much better. The movie, I wanted it to be slower. I wanted it to capture the loneliness, the depravity, and just the misery. I know that sounds weird, but it didn't feel miserable enough. The book captured what it's like to be locked in a bed against your own will perfectly. Best book last year was Rat King. Worst Dark Matter. Okay. Just stopping by. I love Our Energy Man. I just read The Buffalo Hunter. Wasn't expecting a vampire story. Whoa! I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but My friend Elliot, who gifted me Project Hail Mary, said that's his favorite book last year. I think I'm caught up back here. I know I might have skipped a few. Best book last year was Blade of the Dream. Struggling with consistent reading lately, so I'm listening to Harry Potter audiobooks to ease back into reading. That's always nice. Favorite last year was Fires of Heaven. Ooh, best book was a tie between Lonesome Dove and Shadows Upon Time. Least favorite, but still not bad, was Mistborn 5. Oh my gosh. Why did I miss this? Yo, how you doing? Welcome back and Happy New Year. Thanks, dude. Happy New Year to you. I'm so far behind. But we're gonna catch up. Let's scroll down. Here we go. Okay, let's see. Man, I'm shivering right now. It is so cold. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a little blanket. Oh my gosh. See, this little apartment that we're in is not insulated well at all. So it could be 70 out there, and it could be 40 in here. Oh no, every time I read Lord of the Rings, my eyes get heavy. I start to fall asleep. Not even exaggerating. Oh boy. I think 3 years ago, I'd be doing that. But now I feel like I could do it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Pre-Tolkien fantasy is a treat. You should have a look at titles including Ballantyne fantasy imprint compiled by Lynn Carter. Okay. I think pre and post, like that 10, 15 years before, 10, 15 years after is so cool. Because you got Last Unicorn after Lord of the Rings. And then you've got this one. It's so interesting. Because, again, I know there's people out there in the world that like, dang it, Lord of the Rings is fantasy. That is fantasy to me. You can't change my mind. There's so much more fantasy out there. And I know I haven't read fantasy, Lord of the Rings yet. So why that's very preemptive of me. I still just the principle still stands. There's more fantasy out there, and I think it's always fun to read authors who were inspired by Tolkien, but also read authors who came before Tolkien, and just how fantasy has evolved. Modern fantasy is a whole nother thing. I just don't really touch it as much. Granted, I mean, Name of the Wind, Lies of Locke Lamora, those are, contemporary, but I think modern, like today, fantasy is I feel like fantasy has become, it's extremely popular. And I think people don't put the effort into creating something, I don't know, that stands out. It feels like the fantasy aspect is after the fact. It's just kind of a backdrop. You're not going to care about the world. And I don't know, maybe the world isn't the important thing, but I don't know. I just think fantasy is not, I don't know. I'm sorry. Am I excited for Nolan's Odyssey? Yes. And Denny's Dune Part 3. Always. The only two films I'm excited about. I need to start Metal Gear Solid. Planning to play through them in order. Hopefully they've aged well. Yeah. That's an undertaking. Also, speaking of games, our boys have started. Wow. Skyrim playthrough. What a treat. What a time to be alive. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy for you. Oh, you take mental photos, you take physical photos, videos. Hold on to those memories. Also, I got an HBO Max subscription, so if anyone has any recs for non-mainstream HBO original, Mare of Easttown. Boom. Mare of Easttown. That's all I will recommend. I've been struggling to find books I like lately. What do you do when you go through that yourself? I take a break. I step away from my bookshelf. I go on and just live my life and try to separate myself from the responsibility of, oh my gosh, I need to read a book for my Booktube channel. I need to be having a book in my hand. And I'll just take time away from that. And usually I come up with, I get a little light bulb in my head. Like, oh, you know what? That sounds fun to read. I want to read that. And maybe I'll read the beginning chapter of a book that I might not be interested in. Maybe I'll put it down, pick another book up, and keep trying. And then once one clicks, I'm like, okay, that's doable. And I think a good thing to do is read something small. Something, a small book is good, like a maybe 200, maybe a little over 200 pages book. That way you don't have this fear of, oh my gosh, this book is massive. 800 pages. That's an investment. Start small. I just started Elden Ring. I'm mostly dying. I love that. Elden Ring is an unbelievable game. It's a game that you feel scared, but then you build confidence. And then you get scared again. And then you build more confidence. And that confidence will only grow. And your skill will only grow. Enjoy it. Savor it. All right, I'm going to go all the way down here. Oh, Josh. The legendary Josh Johnson. He and I need to do a live stream ASAP. I told him once I finish Lonesome Dove, we're doing it. I even messaged Mike from Mike's Book Reviews. Hey, when I finish Lonesome Dove in 2028, let's do a live stream. And then he just gave me a thumbs up. Great guy. My goal this year is to buy almost no books. Love that. Good. Same. Even though I think I bought a book. I don't know. I'm buying books for my clients now. Every time I go to their wedding, I gift them a book. I filmed an elopement a week ago. She's a fantasy reader, and I gifted her a copy of Name of the Wind and The Last Unicorn. And I put Fortnite V-Bucks inside the book because her husband likes Fortnite. It's just fun. It's fun to gift people books and then film their wedding. It's great. All right, let's try to catch up here. Okay, weird. I don't know why it's called something different in the app. Okay. Thanks for your presence in my YouTube recap. I was in your YouTube recap? That's cool. What an honor. Favorite book was a three-way tie between Project Hail Mary, Bone Raiders by Jackson Ford, Blackfire Blade. Okay. Speaking of Harry Potter audiobooks, I've been listening to the full cast audiobooks that have been coming out, and Hugh Laurie as Dumbledore and Kit Harington as Gilderoy Lockhart are amazing. Whoa. Okay. That's the coziest blanket I've ever seen. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Yeah, it's Costco. Golly, it is cold. What's up? Man, this guy's awesome. If you love history, follow Josh Johnson. Hey, all, can't stay, but saw it was live, so popped in to say hi. I hope you're well. You're the best, Ryan. You're the best. I'm listening to an audiobook right now. It's a memoir called Dark Squares by chess international master Danny Wrench, who was born into an abusive cult. My gosh, it's his story about how chess saved his life. Whoa. I love chess. That sounds interesting. There's a book I want to read. It's called The Elusive Shift, I think. It's about role-playing video game or role-playing tabletop games and how they've evolved over time. Because I'm back on my Dungeons and Dragons kick. Not necessarily playing Dungeons and Dragons or really prep, but just studying the game. It's so much fun to study the game and the history of the game and how it began and like what it's become. It's fascinating. So I like reading Dracula. Even if you haven't read Lord of the Rings and didn't like it, you can still see the influence on the genre without Tolkien. Exactly. I agree, Brian. Exactly. And that's why I want to read Lord of the Rings, to see where it kind of started. Not necessarily started, but, yeah. Stopping by, saying hi. Can't stay, so watching this later. Have a nice hangout, everyone. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out. Thomas, big news in my gaming world. I found a game that beat out Skyrim for me. Okay. What is it? Hello there. I already have Mayor of Easttown on my list, but thanks for the rec. Yeah. Enjoy it. Savor it. For a reader, the best thing to do when stuck is not to read. Sounds weird, but often works. Yep. Just walk away. Don't feel obligated to always have a book in your hand. Yeah. Because when that book comes up, that idea, that inspiration, it's magical. You're reading of your own excitement and volition. Maybe you mean nowadays fantasy is more technical and methodical? I don't know yet. I haven't read a lot of modern fantasy. A lot of the popular fantasy nowadays. So I couldn't tell you if it's technical or methodical. If you're reading in a reading slump, I watch movies or do Legos or something. Yeah. Are you naturally stoic or just seem to be? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'm a golden retriever when I get excited, but then I get exhausted after socializing for so long. But maybe the older I get, I've become a little more relaxed. Planning on playing the new Mafia game this year. I played the first two, which were amazing. Couldn't finish the third one. It's very disappointing. Sorry if I got the sniffles. It's cold in here. definitely enjoy my other hidden hobbies. If I don't like reading, gaming, drawing. Yeah, exactly. I love taking my time to get away from a book, play a video game. I watched my wife play through Control, Remedy Studios game, a couple weeks ago. So that was fun. Been playing Arc Raiders with my friend a lot. And yeah, I love it. 2028 for finishing Lonesome Dove is insane. Yeah, I'm just joking. I get half price off all books where I work now. It's going to be a rough year. It's worth it though. It's worth it. Alexa, hi Tom. Which movies are you excited about? Dune Part 3, Odyssey. Hands down. How do you become a better reader? I'm really into horror and I can't seem to find one that gets my mind going. Okay, well, that's two questions that I don't know if I'm equipped to answer. Well, I mean, horror, you just got to keep trying. Keep finding an author that you like, their writing style, their pace, their sentence structure, just all of that. Whatever works for you, you'll find it. Just don't give up. How to become a better reader? It sounds bad, but you just got to read. The more you read, the better you'll become. And I mean physically read. Follow the book, the words on the page, and get better. It's you won't see it right away, but you'll feel the results as time goes on. 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, when I started reading, it was a chore. I didn't like it. I didn't want to read. And there were a lot of, I was a much more slower reader, like just mentally, like where I just couldn't, I was sounding out every word. Whereas now it becomes much more natural. I'm still a slow reader, but that's by choice to savor the story and what I'm actually reading. So the more you read, the more you'll get better at it. And that's just like anything. The more you do anything, you'll get better at it one way or another. But you want to at least have the objectivity to step back and evaluate, okay, this is where I was. Look at how far I've come. Wow. Or this is how I can improve. To be honest, I read Fellowship. I'm a bit confused why people love Lord of the Rings so much. The prose is very good, but the characters felt very two-dimensional to me, except for some like Gollum and Boromir. That's an interesting thought. I don't have an opinion because I haven't read it yet. Had to DNF book 5 of Dungeon Crawler Carl. I do enjoy the series. I think I burnt myself out on them. Yeah. I think it's insane how I see so many people read so many series at once or so consistently. I feel like you can get burnt out on them, especially if you're just rushing through them. Or I don't know, Wheel of Time, man. I'm thankful I never got burnt out. And I think that's because the way I approached it. But my uncle, he finished book 7. I think he might be burnt out too. He doesn't know where that series is going to go. My wife is on book 6, loving it, loving every bit of it. Took a week break in the middle of reading Wise Man's Fear, and it really helped me to avoid burnout. Yeah. And I think regardless of what you read, it's easy to get burnt out. I think that's what I'm feeling. That's why I've just been so slow at reading. I'm just like, I don't want to read with that pressure of having to get a book review out. I used to think, last year, okay, I got to get a video out, got to get 2 videos out every week. But I don't want it to become a chore or an obligation where I feel like I'm not giving my honest self to you guys. I want to be authentic as much as possible. Modern fantasy feels more like progression than invention. Things get better, but they aren't entirely original. Of course, there are exceptions to that. That's a good point. The exact reaction. It's Diablo 4. Whoa, okay. Control is such a bonkers game. Love it. I didn't like it as much as I loved Alan Wake 1 and 2. But it was still fun. Have you played Final Fantasy or Chrono Trigger? No, but I do want to play that one indie game that was inspired by Chrono Trigger. I'm blanking out on the name. It came out a couple years ago. Wow. Not even thinking about it. Dang it. It'll come to me. If anyone would like a resource for finding SF, fantasy, or horror books, check out Worlds Without End. Loads of lists there to look at. Okay. Have you ever read Count of Monte Cristo? It's taking me longer than it should. It's good, but I think it put me in a slump. I think longer books do that. Longer books put me in a slump too. I don't want to say I'm in a slump, but I'm not reading as consistent with this one. But like I stated in the very beginning with Lonesome Dove, it's a book that I'm not dying to jump out at. I'm not reading it to, oh, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? But because it's not written like that. It's written in a very methodical way, day to day, moment to moment, where you're just kind of like, this is heavy. This feels so real. And then you pick it up where you left off. Count of Monte Cristo, I do want to read. And I also want to read, oh my gosh, Don Quixote. You become a much more better reader by deciding to take your time with it, not reading what only other people recommend, not reading to become smarter, not reading for the sake of saying, yes, I read that. Yes, amen. That's a very good mindset to have. Something I've developed too, where I just want to read it because I want to read it, not because this person says I have to read it. Granted, there are people out there that I trust. And when they recommend me a book, I really take it to heart because we have that companionship and trust with one another. So, yeah. And I've stated this on my channel, I never want to read a book to say, oh, I finished it. I read that. Like, okay, but what'd you get from it? Can you tell me about it? It's just an important perspective and mindset to have, an approach to reading that I think we should all attempt. Because it's so easy to get lost in this quick, fast world where books are getting published left and right. Now we have indie publishers getting more and more popular and viral that there's going to be hundreds of thousands of books every year to read. I hate DNFing something. I either read it or not. That's why I'd rather wait or not read something at all instead of beginning and not finishing it. I like that. Currently reading Count of Monte Cristo and loving it so much. Thomas, how do you balance not letting YouTube be a chore, but also staying consistent with it? It's all about my attitude. It's all about the attitude and approach to reading and the approach to YouTube. If I have an idea that I'm genuinely excited about and I want to talk about it, then I'm going to make a video right then and there. Whether I edit it and get it out right away, that's something different. But getting the topic out on paper, and I mean, as in this form, out on camera, is the most important. And I want that topic to feel real and conversational. I don't want it to feel like, when a teacher presents, hey, you have to write an essay and it has to be 1,000 words minimum or, maximum, whatever. I don't want it to feel like I'm filling words, filling the empty space for the sake of it. Maybe I might come off like that, the way I talk, the way I like to present a topic or provide context for something, but that's just the way I am. I never want to fill dead air for the sake of it. I have a few topics for sure that I want to get out, that I'm excited to talk about, but I'm also nervous. There's one video specifically that I'm nervous about getting out because I don't feel like I'm well researched in it. But I also don't think I need to be researched in it, because we all have perspectives on stuff. We have experience on certain things. And I think I can provide my opinion on this topic. And I mentioned it earlier in this video about it's about the hype train. The hype train of Booktube, the hype train of video games, the hype train. The more and more we use social media, we are exposed to things and information, and it's so easy to just jump on it. And I guess the video I want to talk about, like, why is there so much hype around books, but not a lot of critical debate or evaluation on a book? It's always just, this book is amazing, dang it, read it now. And I'm curious why we, at least what the algorithm is sharing me, I'm only seeing positivity toward books. And I want to talk about that. I want to ask questions about that and present that in a video. Long-winded answer, I know. You have interest in indie authors or smaller authors? Not right now. Not right now. Short answer. Not yet. I don't have anything against it. But I just have the books on my mind that I want to read. And I want to read the books that are on my mind. Thomas, I'd like to recommend His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. I think it might be a series you'd enjoy. I heard about that. Thank you. I've been reading fantasy too long. I looked at the page count of one of the books I'm getting for my birthday and was bummed when I saw that it was less than 300 pages. To read Don Quixote, I really recommend an annotated version. A lot of nuance is lost in the translation, and even for native Spanish speakers, because the original language uses a lot of archaic terms. Thank you for that. It's always interesting with translations. Count of Monte Cristo is one of my all-time faves. Love that. My book friends poke fun at me for reading Shogun, longest book I've ever read. All I did throughout was complain about the length. Then in the same breath, told them it was one of my favorite books ever. Currently reading The Hobbit. How you liking that? I love The Hobbit. It's such a great, just fantasy tale. Finished I See You Just Called and Dead. One of the best books I've read in a long time. Also finished The Troop based on your recommendation. Ooh, how was The Troop? Sea of Stars. There it is. Right there. Boom. That's the one. I try to bounce between manga, comic books, and a traditional novel. Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. I haven't read graphic novels in a while, but I have the Walking Dead graphic novel waiting for me, and that'd be really fun to get through. Thanks for such a detailed and thoughtful response. Definitely gave me some food for thought. Which is weird because negativity usually gets more engagement on the internet, the rage bait stuff. Yeah, that's a good point. The algorithm is feeding me more positive stuff. And I see a lot of the rage bait, which I ignore a lot of the time. And that's a very good point because negativity does get more, boom, more engagement. Yeah. Huh. I do think I am going to be heading out. I'll be going now in a bit. So this is goodbye in advance. Yeah. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah, I'd like to get some breakfast in and do some reading and get back to work. Finish up with a couple more questions here, and then I will start heading out. What sci-fi books are you planning to read besides Sun Eater? Book of the New Sun, for sure. And Project Hail Mary. Speaking of translations, this is my last question. Have you tried reading Paradise Lost by John Milton? No, I haven't. Have you watched Invincible? Speaking of Walking Dead. Excuse me. I watched the first season and then I just fell off. So many TV shows. I am currently watching Twin Peaks with my wife, and we are loving it so much. The Troop, really liked it, but very depressing. The other book mentioned made me laugh out loud. Not going to lie, tear up. We'll definitely read it again. Yeah, it's tough when you read a book that's heavy. Frederick Bachman once said that he tries not to use Swedish idioms that are hard to translate into English. I thought it was very thoughtful of him. Yeah, that's really cool. That is interesting. I feel like the English translation for his books really, really nice. Really nice. But yeah, before I get just lost in the chat again, I really appreciate everyone for tuning in, hanging out. Whenever I don't post for 2 weeks or a month, I'm like, gosh, is Booktube going to delete me? Is the algorithm not going to feed me to, people's feeds? So it was really nice to see such a nice turnout. And hang out with all of you talking about books and games and shows and just reading and approach to reading. But yeah, thank you for hanging out. And I might have a video out tomorrow. So we'll see. We will see. Cheers, everyone. And I hope you all have